Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I'm back with another video, and in today's video we have an Asus laptop. This one is an Asus E402sa model. And in this video I'm going to show you guys how to replace the keyboard if you drop water and some keys are not working. And in this video is for you guys. I'm going to take you step by step how to open it up, how to replace your keyboard. These keyboards are mesh keyboard. That means they go from underneath to the palm rest, so you can't just simply change it from the top. Yeah, I'll leave the link in the description to purchase a new keyboard. So they come like a laminated, just like this, and it has to go right in between this palm rest on the bottom. So once we have the tools that you're gonna be needing, obviously the new keyboard, you're gonna need a tweezers, pointy tweezers. One of these opening tool, but with the sharp edges, you can sharpen it yourself. I'll try to find some link for these ones. I believe they have some. And most important one, you will need a screwdriver set. I'm gonna be using the UFIXTEK screwdriver set, as they have one of the best bits out there. They have S2 class steel bit. They will last you a long time. You're gonna be using a Phillips number 1, and you will need an opening tool. For opening tool, you can get the Pro set from this UFIXTEK tool set they give you, or you can simply get yourself a guitar pick. The guitar picks are really suitable. They are soft edges and hard to bend. Alright, next you want to power off your laptop. This laptop, they lost that cover for the screen, so it doesn't make any difference. Now we want to switch it upside down, flip it upside down, and we're going to start removing all the screws that we see at the bottom cover. Also, if you guys want to support the channel and you find my content helpful and helping you guys out, I really appreciate it if you guys could just click that like and subscribe to my channel. It would be a really great help for me for support. Remember, the short screws are the corner front ones. So the corner front screws, these are the short screws. And the rest are like a medium size screws. Remove the service cover on the middle. This one comes with a skinnier and longer screw. So there are 3 sets of screws, short ones, medium, and one tiny long one. And under the cover, we're gonna remove the black head screws. There are about 4 of them. We're gonna remove the hard drive by removing 4 screws that hold the caddy, 2 on each side. And then now we're just gonna slide the hard drive towards the back and lift it up. Once we remove everything here, now we're gonna grab the guitar pick and we're gonna stick it between the top and the bottom cover. And we're just gonna wiggle it around to all the way in the front. Do the sides. Go back to the back corners. On the other side. Once you got all of them removed, just simply go ahead and lift up the bottom cover. There we go. You see the water damage in here? The water came out from the top or whatever. It spilled all over. Alright, this is the most garbage heatsink I ever seen. Like the fan is right here. It has to blow the air from here. Who knows where it's gonna suck the air through. So it's sucking the air from nowhere. And it's gonna pass it through here to the back. And so where it's gonna be sucking the air, who knows? From the grill where the speakers are, and look what happens to the speaker. You full of dust and garbage you get there. Alright, first we're gonna disconnect the battery. To disconnect the battery is really not just simply pull it out. What you need to do is pull this trigger back, so you release it. It's like about 1 millimeter back. So it should be like that. You want to slide it backward, and then you want to pull up the jack towards the ceiling. We're gonna remove the battery. There's 1 screw right there and 1 screw right over here. Remove these 2 screws, and you should be able to lift up the battery simply. Just untangle the cable for the speaker. Just pull it out. and untangle it from the sides of the battery right there. It just goes zigzag in and out, and lift up the battery. So there's your battery. Alright, first we're gonna start removing this speaker on this side. It has an adhesive to it, so pretty much you have to lift it up gently from the middle and it will come out. There's a one adhesive there, foam. And this speaker right here has a screw right on this side. Disconnect the fan cable for the fan of it, fan jack. Remove the tiny screw right on this speaker. And let's go ahead and lift up the speaker, and put the speakers to one side. Now we're not gonna remove the fan, we're just gonna leave it there. We're gonna remove this flex cable right here by lifting up this black jack 90 degrees up with your fingernail, and then slide out the ribbon cable. Leave it right there. Remove the flex cable for the touchpad. Again, lift it up. I'm gonna lift it from the both ends. Alright, the keyboard flex right here. Lift up this plastic with your finger 90 degrees upward. Slide it out. Remove this other flex right here. This is for USB extension right here. And this one you have to pull it out slowly. Has an adhesive to it. And disconnect it from the other end. Now we're gonna lift up these hinges. So remove the two screws for the hinges here. And lift up the hinge all the way back. And remove the one screw right there. It's a Phillips 00. Alright, now go ahead and lift up this USB port. We're gonna remove the two motherboard right now. So by removing the motherboard, before that, let's go ahead and remove the flex cable for the LCD. Remove the plastic and pull it back toward the internet connection right there. RJ45, so slide it out. So slide it out gently. I'll try to help it out. And lift it up and bring it to back. Unplug the Wi-Fi cable. Now we're gonna remove the two screws for this side of the hinge. Alright, we're gonna lift up the hinge. So there we have it. And the motherboard, there's one screw with a Phillips 00 in the middle. So now that we got that going, we can go ahead and lift up the motherboard slowly. There's one more screw, which is a different screw, obviously. It's right here between the HDMI cable and VGA. Now go ahead and lift up the motherboard, untangle the Wi-Fi cable, and there's your motherboard. And at the back, there's no more RAM. The RAMs are soldered on the board. Now what we're gonna do, we need to remove this isolation right here. So remove the isolated plastic. Now the keyboard is under this metal sheet right here. We need to remove these 3 screws to remove this cover for the trackpad. And lift it up. Remove the tape. And slide it in the front. This is your trackpad. Now, to remove this cover here, there's a tiny plastic melted over on these clips here. We need to cut these ones out before we can pull it out. So if you try to pull it out, it is going to come, but you're going to bend the metal. So we don't want to bend the metal. Otherwise, it's going to deform or can touch the motherboard. So what you need to do to grab a towel, a workshop towel, or if you have a gloves, you can use gloves. I just use this one in my palm of my hand so I can support it right there so it doesn't hurt me. Now what we're gonna do, we're just gonna cut off these heads of the plastic heads right there one by one. There's gonna be whole lots of them. Go all around it, all around. Everything that you see that coming through this metal, you wanna cut them out. So I'm probably gonna fast forward this part. I'm just gonna start cutting all this. You can go ahead and remove the palm rest so you don't have to press on the screen. So put the screen to one side, and while you work on this one, you can remove the fan. Alright, now we're gonna try to lift it up evenly with the even pressure, not to bend it forward too much. And we're gonna lift up from this side, from the middle, and it should pop the rest open. Once we remove this top plate, you can go ahead and wash it and clean it if you want to. Look at all this water damage that it was being done here. But if you don't want to clean it, it doesn't matter. Now, this is old keyboard. We can just go ahead and knock the heads off these ones too, but it's not necessary, as we can just simply lift up the keyboard and just pull it out, and it's gonna break those. You want to do gently. Pull it out. And there's your old keyboard, and you can see the water damage that is being done right here. Alright, now you can go ahead and clean up this. Now grab the new keyboard, bring it over, sit it down right there. Clean up your workspace, it's important. You don't want all this garbage here. Alright, we're gonna bring it back. Now we're just gonna push it down, make sure it goes through those tiny pins right there. And once it's through those pins, make sure it sits nicely through those. And there we have it. And check it from this side, make sure it's nicely in place. Press in the middle, make sure those pins in the middle go through. Alright, now in order to keep it the height of the mesh so the keyboard doesn't stay under the mesh, you gotta press it, and we're gonna melt down these tiny pins with a hot station or with a solder iron. We're just gonna melt it down so you can patch it down so it holds the mesh under the keys so it doesn't stay at the key level. So otherwise you're gonna have a like key level, it's gonna be a little uncomfortable. So you want them to pop out a little bit. So in order to do that, we need to use the solder station and push it down and then just melt them back in. So I'm gonna heat up my solder station. First, what I'm doing with the finger right here, I'm gonna press between the keys to the plastic so it comes through. I'm holding it down. I'm gonna press on that. So actually I can hold it with one hand right there while I'm pressing on the other side right there. So I'm pressing between the keys, and while this one is pushing down, so that thing it comes up, and I'm gonna just solder that, push that, heat it up down. So heat it down in place. There's one. Do the one beside it. Alright, we got most of them in, or almost all of them. We're done up here. So Now we're gonna grab the bottom shield. And remember how it goes. The cable has to come through here, up here, so align it, set it right on top. And we're gonna press it down, make sure it stays in place. Alright, and just knock it down in there. Now, same thing here, but in here the plastics are not the height of the plastic is not up enough, so it can't melt. So you need to use another plastic to melt over this one, but at least to the side, so it keeps the plate here. Or you just don't do anything, because the screws right here is gonna pull the metal back to the base. So you can either use the plastic from this space bar, so rip up the space bar here, and you can use this in the hot station or the solder station right here. You can just grab it from here a little bit and then mix it up with the pin right in there, and then just press it down quickly. Go like that. If you want to be really picky, but you don't really actually need it, it's really not necessary. It's just really time consuming to do one by one all this. But as we see that there's a screw holes right here holding from the plastic on the bottom case, so there's no point for it doing this one, and you won't know the difference. So now that we have the keyboard in place, let's go put this stuff back together. Grab the fan, put the fan in place. I'm gonna work on this side. I'm gonna grab the screen, put the screen lay down, slide it right under the screen, bring it over. Let's start up by putting the palm rest, the trackpad under. Put the 3 flat screws on this one. We're gonna grab the motherboard. No, before we grab the motherboard, we gotta put this shield on. So the shield has to go, I think I had it the other way around, so it's easier for me to do this. It was just like that. The flex cable has to come on top. This goes over, just like this. There's 3 double-sided tape here. You can just strip it out and just tape it down. Just bring it over and squeeze it there. Alright, now we got the isolation there. We're gonna grab the motherboard, bring it up gently, slide it right, the HDMI cable right, slide them down there. This flex cable has to come through here, just like this. And because that adhesive is going crooked, it has to go straight. There we go. So it sits down nicely. It's not hard, it's just like a little bit time consuming, but you get it done and it's better. Alright. Now we're gonna close down the hinge. We're gonna put the 2 screws for the hinge on this side to keep it in place. Let's grab this board, the USB and the audio board here, and put the tiny screw right over here. Close down the hinge. Put the 2 screws for the hinge on this side. There's a tiny arrow, it says where it's supposed to go. Grab the flex cable, open the hinge, the lock for it, and slide it right underneath, bring it over. Just run it through under this, over this and open the lock, slide it right underneath and lock it down. Open the lock for the keyboard flex right there and make sure it goes evenly underneath all the way in, and then lock it down. You can just leave it like this and put a little tape over. Nothing is gonna happen, that's just safe. So grab any tape, keep it in place so it doesn't move. Next, grab the cable for the trackpad here or touchpad. Slide it right underneath. Put the 2 screws for the motherboard. Remember, one between the HDMI. This is the chrome screw. And the tiny black one goes beside the CPU. Right there. Let's go ahead and connect the LED cables in the front. So lift up. Slide it underneath. Lock it down. Run the cable for the LCD cable. Just slide it underneath evenly. Make sure it goes very nice and even. Let me zoom in on this one. I don't want you guys to mess up this part. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna bring it over on beside it. I'm gonna lower the head a little bit. It has to go underneath. Take your time. Once it's in there, just slide that side in and slide the other side in. Just like that. And that's it. Grab the Wi-Fi cable right here. Connect the Wi-Fi cable. The Wi-Fi cable has to go through this hole right here. Just jack it right in there and keep it in place. What else am I forgetting? The speakers, obviously. Grab the speakers. Put the fan cable in place. The speaker goes over, sits right there. Put the one screw that holds the fan and the speaker right there. And bring this one here. I'm gonna leave this one loose right now. And what else we need here? Pretty much we're done. Let's grab the battery. Bring up the battery. Set it down right here. Before you set it down, run the cable for the audio cable right here. Just zigzag it right there. It's easier. Even this one, you can do it on the air before you set it down. There you go. Now, sit down the speaker right in the corner. Sit down the battery right in its place. Make sure the screw holes match. Put the 2 screws for the battery, one in the middle up here, one right by the fan, and it holds the fan in place too. Alright, now we're gonna connect the cable for the speakers. Right there, slide them right underneath. Alright, once we are done up here, simply we're just gonna grab the battery, make sure the lock is pushed all the way back, bring it over, and push it down on the motherboard, and then slide the lock over. And pretty much we are done. Now you can do some last cleaning. You can clean this one with a toothbrush, with an old toothbrush if you got. Just grab it and just gently rub it up and clean it. Clean up the fan in case you need to. And that's it. Alright, and the last thing is to grab the bottom cover, bring it over, align it, and then squeeze down. Make sure you hear those clicks. You want to hear those clicks at the back. Make sure if it's not closing down here, because probably there's a cable on the way, open it up, double check. There's the Wi-Fi cable, it has to be underneath, so you don't want to pinch those Wi-Fi cables. So make sure it goes under the jack, under the motherboard. And this cable's right here, everything is. Now we're gonna push it down. Now it's closing down. Press the sides, the front, the corners. Make sure you hit those clicks. There we go. And first, let's put the black screws right on the bottom of the service cover. And we are gonna put the short screws in front of every corner, in the front of the laptop. One in that corner, one in the other corner. Remember, the long short one goes with the bottom cover. So put the hard drive in, the other way around, face down. Slide it towards the connector. Put the 4 screws for the hard drive. Grab the bottom service cover, bring it over, slide down the bottom end first in 45-degree angle, and then bring it down and just squeeze it down. And put the only screw that holds it, the long one. And the last part will be to just put the rest of the screws on the bottom cover. I hope you guys like this video and helped you guys out to replace your keyboard for your Asus laptop. And if you did, you know what to do. Click that like button. And if you want to support the channel, just subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions or requests, leave them in the comments, in the video comment. I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, guys. And I'll see you guys in my next video.